Good morning, friends. This morning we are getting ready to go to school, and I wanted to show you I have these biscuits heated up and ready for the kids to eat. Good morning, friends. We just got back from dropping the kids off at school, and I have some projects laid out here for myself. I'm going to get all of these things put into jars for long-term storage. I had this jar and this bag of Brazil nuts, and I think it's so silly that I didn't notice and just put it into a larger jar. So I'm going to do that now. I'm also going to reconstitute some dried milk. So I have some in my refrigerator already mixed up to add to some recipes that I'm going to make. This is my giant thing of rice. I keep it on the counter here. We go through it about every 2 to 3 months. So I'm not going to go ahead, like I just filled this back up. So I'm going to go ahead and just put this stuff on top. And I know I should rotate it, but it's so new. This stuff is so new in here that it doesn't matter because it'll be eaten fairly quickly. It looks like those 2 bags filled it up all the way. So we're done with this one now. I'm going to move it back over to the counter where it sits and lives. Now these 2 other bags I will keep on the storage shelf over here, and the next time it needs refilled I will just go ahead and use them. After that, I'm going to start rotating out the rice that I have in 5-gallon buckets so that we always use what we have and we don't let anything go bad. I get a 10-pound shipment of this Nishiki medium grain white rice once a month. It's on the subscribe and save setting. I have paused it for my food challenge. I just had these up here on the shelf. We went through not as much rice as usual during the holiday season, so I kind of had a backup happen. So right now it's paused so that I only have what we need for a year. And when we start going through it and, using it up again, I will turn that back on and have it shipped to me again. I may regret that because prices might go up, but I just don't want to have a huge backlog of things like that in the house. So I'm going to put these back on the shelf and get them out of my way, and I'll put these over there too. I don't need to label these because I know these are Brazil nuts. I have a crazy amount of these leftover kimchi jars. We go through a crazy amount of kimchi. It's kind of embarrassing. It's an obsession. Alright, next we are going to put away our taco seasoning mix that we got from Azure. Isn't that cute? I'll put it on my shelf and I'll know exactly what it is. Alright, next we're going to do this Fiesta Mexican seasoning. Uh-oh, let's see. Perfect. That worked out great. Let me find a lid for this. Alright, we found a nice lid. the same thing. This is my mushroom soup mix. Alright, so if you're going to stock up on this mushroom soup mix and get 3 pounds like I did, this half-gallon jar is the perfect size. I just found this pumpkin pie spice over there, and I'm going to go ahead and put this away as well.
Oh, Chloe. What did I do?
I'm putting away some of our spices from Azure.
Azure?
Alright, I'm a little bit covered in pumpkin pie spice, but I got most of it to fit except for the dust that flew out at me. This is just an old pickled baby beets jar, and it's great to repurpose your jars like this rather than spending more money to buy the really beautiful ones. Azure does sell some pretty affordable, like, large jars. I found their prices really reasonable, so I did stock up on some of those. I may buy some more depending on what I find I use during this pantry challenge. We'll see. And depending on what I find that I need to have in my storage during this pantry challenge, that will also be a determining factor in how many glass jars I buy for the future. Alright, that one's all done. Alright, now I'm going to reconstitute this milk and get it into the fridge to incorporate. So into this jar, which is leftover spaghetti sauce jar, I'm going to add three and 3/4 cups of water. And 3/4. I made a little bit of a mess, it's alright. These things happen in life. Alright. So let's get that over to the side. This I cleaned. And now I will put this entire packet of non-fat dry milk in. I want to order some of those from Azure, but they've been out of stock, so I just picked some up from Food Line a couple weeks ago just to have on hand. I didn't even think about the food challenge. I didn't even know I was going to do it then. So I am really happy that I did that. So this is like acting super full, like it's going to overflow. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wait and see if this will go into the milk. It's slowly going down, so I'll see if it will go in without overflowing. We'll see. I'll fit. It just took a minute to incorporate together and sink down. So now what I do is I put the lid on super tight and just shake. Shake, shake, shake as much as you can. you have mood juice. I'm gonna sit it in the refrigerator, let it incorporate for a few hours, and come back and shake it again later. Well, I found that during this pantry challenge, taking care of tasks like this all at once, and doing little things like that to make my life easier later on is really what counts. Cooking from scratch all the time, even though I still have some easy pantry staples sitting around, is no joke. I have been feeling really tired and really run down for some reason, and I'm just trying to do some things that are favors for myself for later, just because I have been feeling kind of crummy. My husband bought me this for Christmas. I think it is the cutest thing, the sweetest gesture. So I'm going to wear it today while I put the flour and peas away. He got me little pins to put all over it too. Let's see. Super cute. Let me go see in the mirror. What I want to do is make room in my other pantries by doing this challenge to put these things, or even use some of these up, so that I have room to put more 5-gallon buckets on this shelf. Right now my potatoes and onions are stored right here. Not ideal, but they're slightly protected from the sun usually. It's about a week and a half into the pantry challenge, and I still have a ton of things to use. Tons of stuff that need used up. All right, let me get some gallon buckets and I will come back. Now I'm prepping my 5-gallon buckets to put my ingredients into. All I do is wipe them down on the inside with a damp paper towel. This one is clean from the Azure delivery, but I do all the same, just to make sure there's no factory dust in it. And then I get a dry paper towel and I dry the inside as best as I can, and then I let them sit and I wait until there's no moisture left on the inside. They're totally dry and clean. All right, so we'll do these peas first. These are green split peas. Let me find the end here. Oh. You know, I don't think a 3-gallon bucket would have been enough, so I'm really happy that I have this bucket right here. Now I'm just going to find a dry lid and sit it on top so that no little nosies or hands go into the bucket for right now. And I'm going to take this label onto the bucket. Ta-da! All done. And now I have my husband press the lids down on these buckets for me, because it's super difficult and I don't want to hurt my knees doing that. So he always helps me with that. Next, I'm going to put away this flour. As you can see, this lid is super dirty. My top guy likes to play with it, so that's all right. He stands on the bucket sometimes, which they should not do. This is real life here. It's a real house. And we're a real family, so that does happen. Plus, I don't have a specific storage room that I can shut and lock. All of my food storage is out in the main family space, So it's really hard to keep everything untouched. But I do what I can for right now. Now this bucket does have flour in it, but I know within the next 6 months I will use this bucket because this is my first rotation bucket. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then this will be my last rotation bucket. I have 2 other buckets over there that I will use first before I use this one, and I'm going to date them all. Whew. I don't like to waste anything, so I start out slow because this is a, let's see, 50-pound bag of flour, quite heavy. This bucket was full at the beginning of December. That's how much baking I did over the holidays. And also I made bread, my failed bread recipe. So that bread recipe has never failed me before. I'm going to test out some other yeast, and if it doesn't work, it's because the milk that I always use, I don't have it. So we will try to find a bread compromise in the meantime. I'm hoping that if I use that reconstituted buttermilk or the non-fat dry milk in there that I reconstituted, that one of those will work instead. In the past, I've made that loaf completely dairy-free. I've made it with the store-bought oat milk and plant-based butter, and it turned out fantastic. So, and I made my own oat milk for it this last time and added more sugar to it, and it still didn't rise correctly. So we will see what happens. I'm all about, this is the time when you need to, like, so this is my trial run for an emergency, so I'm okay with experimenting. I'm not going to waste those loaves of bread. I'm turning them into breakfast casseroles for my family. And I will just keep trying to find a suitable alternative for my bread recipe. Or maybe I'll find a suitable oat milk recipe and everything will be fine. This is my number 1 flour container. This will be my number 4 flour container because I have 2 others over there. I'm really happy that I got to this step in the pantry challenge process. As you can see, I'm starting to really, I have some extra time. I don't go to the store right now, so I have quite a bit of extra time during the week. And I'm getting to little projects around the kitchen that have been sitting for a while. Putting away food storage for, putting away food, your bulk food for long-term storage is really important. And I had some of these things sitting over here, over there for a while. I still have about 5 or 6 things to put away into long-term storage, but I'm waiting to free up some jars. I know I will have at least 3 free jars because one of my goals for the pantry challenge is to use up the 15 pounds of granola I foolishly ordered from Azure. So I've used 7 pounds. I'm very proud, 7 cups of the granola so far. It's still being eaten. I made it into a like energy protein ball recipe with some peanut butter and honey and some extra spices and flavorings. So we're getting there. But I still have 3 gallons of granola over there to use. We're not really granola people, so I'm not. I did that because I wanted to have a breakfast option in emergency. And I also ordered a 25-pound bag of rye flakes for breakfast in emergencies. I still have yet to try the rye flakes. So that will be one thing that I try during this pantry challenge is the rye flakes. Just to see how they are and to start using them up. All right, I think I've emptied this enough to where I can pick it up and not struggle so much with it. And we'll try, oh, okay, maybe not, but we will try to fill the bucket this way. Okay, let's just keep trucking. I'm going to call that full. I still have some more flour in here, so let's see what I can figure out for putting it away. I found an extra bucket that has a few inches of headspace in it. That is flour, so I'm just going to go ahead and try to fill this up with this because I don't want a 5-gallon bucket with 2 inches of flour in it. The idea of that drives me nuts. So let's see what we can do with this. Awesome. We have success, I hope. Yay! Finally done. Now let me put these away. Here we go. Now it looks like this rice is actually just expired. I'm going to rinse it off thoroughly and cook it and see how it tastes. If it tastes okay, we're just going to go ahead and use it up right away. I have some squash over here, so I'll make some stuffed squash and I'll make some, chicken rice dish with this too. And it's not that much, so hopefully we can just use it up and get it out of the house. I found this as well. This is also just expired, so I'm going to look up how to properly cook this because that's why I didn't use it. I was confused as to how to cook it because some of these things in here require soaking, these beans, and the rice doesn't require soaking as long. So I will look up how to cook this and I'll put it into a container and we will use it up right away. I'll put it here with these other items that need to be used. So that during this pantry challenge, I'm really learning about, like I said before, what I need in my food storage and what I do not. This has great nutrient value, these two items, but I'm not as likely to use them as often. So I think I will not be buying them again after I finish them. But not to say that they're not good for you, because they totally are. It's just that they're expensive. And it's not something my family will readily eat all the time, so I am not going to put it in my food storage. Again. Now this frustrates me because this is also expired. I just bought it a few months ago, and I'm not sure why it expired so quickly. So this will also be going on the counter with these things that I need to use post-haste. It's arborio rice. You make risotto out of it. That's not really something I make all the time. You see the amount I bought. I didn't buy that much, so I may rebuy this because I do like arborio rice, and I do have mushrooms to make, put in there too. So we'll see. I think I'm more likely to stock up on a small amount of jasmine rice instead though, but we may keep a pound or two of this in the house as well. So I'm going to show you my food storage over here, and just let you know kind of what we have. This, I think this is farro. I know I got this from Lidl. I didn't label it. I should have labeled it. These are curry leaves, bay leaves, chili powder, whole mustard seed, rye flakes, granola, more rye flakes. I have some dry powdered milk here, some seasonings. These are the things that we just canned up together. I have some dates back here for sweetener, some adzuki beans, and I am so silly. Look at this. I don't know if you can see that or not. I have a giant container of adzuki beans with room for these adzuki beans in it. So I'm going to consolidate that and put those together. I can't believe I did that. It's taking up so much extra space. It's so important to have your food storage organized so that you know what you have and to also properly store it. It's getting a little bit crazy over here in this section, so definitely need some remediation. This pantry challenge is going to be a huge blessing in disguise, I think. Knowing what you have and when it expires is super important. I have some cheesecloth here in case, you know, I need to make my own cheese at some point or for any other project in the kitchen. I have this cornstarch because for 6 months I couldn't find cornstarch and it was an issue, so I ordered it off of Amazon. Some couscous over here. I do like couscous. However, I don't like serving it to my small children. My oldest son is fine with it because he grew up eating that. We had couscous all the time, but my youngest makes a huge mess. So I'll use that and I'll restock in a year or two when he is ready to eat that in a non-messy manner. I have 3 cake mixes over here. Some of them were from Cake Mix Cookies at Christmas. I have, oh my gosh, a box of wheat checks back here, so I can even make my kids Chex Mix during this pantry challenge, which I think is kind of cool. But I will not be keeping cereal in my storage as a rule. So as you can see on my table over there, I have a lot of work to do. I need to find places to put all of those things. Over there is a little bit more organized, and I know what we have now. I found this thing of brown rice flour that we need to use up. I found a bag of split peas over there. It is older, so I'm just going to stick it into this bucket. And it isn't expired until next year, so that's perfect. This is where we keep most of our Korean and Japanese and Chinese ingredients in the house. Right now we have a bunch of convenience like ramen and udon noodles in here because Santa gave them to us. So I'm going to put these rice porridge containers in here because it just makes sense that they go in here with these other convenience meals. you may be asking, like, what on earth do I have in here? I have gochujang powder, shiitake mushrooms, fernbrecken that is dried, soup stocks, like sardine and kelp dried soup stock packets. I have my bonito flakes, my kelp, my other like dashi packets, instant noodles, of course, somen noodles. I have some more rice in here, my sweet brown rice, and my miso packets. So tons of stuff in here to be able to go through right now. I can't even get the door shut. A little bit better. All right, I did it. This is the last thing, and now I'm done for the day with putting away my food storage. Everything is off of my table and in its proper place. I ended up putting these bags that are in limbo right here, and when my husband puts the lids on those 5-gallon buckets, they will go right there. I made space, and it's looking better over here. I can better see what I have. I found this Amish popcorn. Ah! Lost a couple. There we go. See, made some room. And this is popping corn. I'll put this up on the shelf. Of course, part of our food storage is our puppy's food. So I'm going to go ahead and pour the rest of this dog food into this container. There we go. All full and ready for her dinner. You guys, I am rather bummed right now. I went to put these away into this basket, and I found that 2 of them had completely just gone. I just got these from Azure, so I'm really surprised. They were on sale though, so that may be the tell right there. But I will just have to use the rest of these up really quick. This one has a spot right there, but I'm going to see what I can do. Maybe I can use it tonight and incorporate into dinner, or make it for myself for lunch one day. But 2 of them are in their trash, and the rest of them are right here. So I'll just have to make sure I use them properly and quickly. I think I've showed you guys this yet. These I got from my sweet potato plants this year, my Japanese sweet potato plants, and I'm just keeping them as my starters for next year's plants. I'll plant these when it's warm enough outside. That way I do not have to buy sweet potato starters. Again, all I did was I kept some of the vines and I put them in water, and look at all the roots. So technically I will never have to buy a sweet potato plant ever again, because I just have it right here in my window and it's doing really great. I'm going to add some water to it now. It does take up quite a bit of water, but that's okay, because I won't have to buy sweet potato plant starters next season, and it's really beautiful. I really enjoy looking at it when I wash the dishes. Today for lunch I'm having leftover tteokbokki, and Henry is having the leftover macaroni and beans that his big brother made for dinner last night. Dinner tonight is going to be really simple. I'm going to do something kind of weird. I'm going to use up these butter beans that need used, and then I'm going to mix up these 2 containers of cornbread. And if I need more, I might get a Jiffy Quick box out. I have 3 of those I need to use as well. I'm going to put it on top And then I'm going to cut up some hot dogs I have in the refrigerator that need used and put it into the cornbread and bake that and serve it to the kids.
Mom.
Hopefully they'll like it. It is ready to go into the oven. Doesn't look as bad as I thought it would. This is an experiment. We'll see if the kids like it. If they do, I'll make it again. If they have critiques, I will listen to them and try to revamp it. Like next time I might put chili beans in the bottom and some more cheese throughout the whole thing. But this is a good way to use up some of those pantry items that are just sitting around. All right, friends, thank you for helping me put away my food storage. We're making space, we're making room over there. It's starting to improve. I'm gonna go situate some stuff over there in a few minutes. These are cans of food that are going to expire soon or may have already expired like a month ago. The reason they're on my counter is because I need to use them up. So it doesn't look that great. But because it's here, it's nagging me, so I'll use them faster. As far as long-term food storage goes, I will always order that from Azure. I had an incident over the holidays with a bag of black-eyed peas that I bought from Food Lion just 3 months ago. I put it in the water to soak, and they all floated. They were all bad, so I threw those out because I wasn't going to serve my family bad beans. And luckily I had another bag that I had purchased from another store. I used that, but it still had like 6 beans float to the top. I made those pizza beans the other day with the cannellini beans that I got from Azure. None of them floated. So I know now that Azure has the best quality long-term food storage option. As far as I'm concerned, they have organic. A lot of their stuff is organic, so that's great too. It's better for my family. It's fresher. I got a 5-pound block of cheese a few months ago. I left it in my refrigerator in the original packaging. No mold at all. I just processed it and put it in the fridge because I wanted to make sure that it was going to stay good and be fresh for our pantry challenge. Because I can't buy cheese right now. I didn't want any of it to go to waste. That's the only reason I processed it. It wasn't moldy at all. It stayed fresh and wonderful in my refrigerator that whole time. So I think that goes to show that Azure's products are really great. I'm not sponsored by Azure. I do leave a link below that if you use it to buy your own groceries from Azure, I do receive an incentive for that, but it's at no cost to you. So if you want to check out Azure, please do use that. It helps my family buy groceries, and we really appreciate that. In the future, I think I'll be doing more shopping at Azure and less at the grocery store because I'm just finding the things at the grocery store to be not as good quality, and I don't want to waste the money that my husband makes at his job on products that are inferior and are bad. Those beans that I bought with the money that he made at work were bad, and I had to throw them out. So, you know, why waste money that way? Why waste the time that my husband spends away from home at his job? So that's how I see that. All their spices are super fresh. A lot of the spices at the store are stale when you buy them. Costco is pretty good. So I like to shop at Azure and at Costco for my long-term storage. I do buy most of my bulk grains, flour, and beans from Azure though. I try to get some of my meat at Costco though, and a few things, like a few types of cheese from Costco that are a better price than Azure, but that does not mean they're better quality. I am working on a budget. I do need to maintain a certain, limit on how much I spend. So I do try each month to order from Azure just a little bit because prices are steadily going up. the price of a bag of flour went up, I think, $13 from last year. So that shows me that the bag of flour that I bought last year, I think I bought 2 bags, 2 50-pound bags of flour last year. That was a good decision because I have that now. I can use it when other people have to go to the store and buy these overpriced items. So, and I do regularly rotate things out. I have 10 pounds of rice coming in from Amazon every month. The only reason I do that is because Azure does not have the rice that I like. I like the Nishiki medium grain white rice. We do have some other kinds, but brown rice does not keep as long as white rice. So I think it's because of the oils that are still in the grain and things. So that's why I do that. I do keep some canned beans around for convenience, but I really try to rotate through my dry beans and use them in a timely manner. And I'm really working on that in this pantry challenge as well. So I will let you know what things I run out of that I really think I need to stock up on, and what things that I have in my house that I really do not need at the end of this pantry challenge. I thank you guys for hanging out with me today and spending so much time with me, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. Please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed watching this video. I'm really hoping that this channel kind of takes off and it really helps us out as a family. We're getting ready to move as soon as we find a house. It's kind of a struggle right now, and I hope you come along with us on that journey. Bye, friends.